So I'm Jeff Matous, and here to talk about the 12th workshop, which was held in Prague in the Czech Republic. And it's important, I think, to recognize that the workshop was originally scheduled to be in Jerusalem, but due to the war, it had to be relocated. And that was, I think, emotional and also quite a feat for Chris and the organizers to pull it off. So along with Christian Buske from Ulm, Germany, we were honored to be the co-host of this meeting. It was actually a great meeting. And I think that here, one of the critical things, the science, of course, everything builds in the science. And as a clinician, I realized that. So it was deepening our understanding of the biology of WM, and especially multi-omics, and studying the immune system and how the immune system microenvironment impacts the biology and behavior of WM, I think is going to translate into, I hope, great therapeutic advances in our field. We learned about the plasma cell phenotype, the mature B cell phenotype, and how they differ. We saw some great clinical research as well with looking at the BTK degraders, non-covalent BTKIs, BCL2 inhibitors. We saw a clinical trial combining chemoimmunotherapy with a BTK inhibitor, the BROM study, which I think showed very impressive data going forward. And so I think that the therapy in the future is going to be impacted by the scientific advances that we saw at our workshop. Now, another question is, what were the most memorable events for me? And for me, I'm a traditionalist, and for me, it was the honorific awards. And so the Kyle Award being given to Stathis Kastridis and Alessandro Tedeschi, that was a wonderful evening. And then the Waldenstrom Award going to a most deserving recipient, Zachary Hunter, for all his great work in our field. And then the Bing Humanitarian Awards went to MJ Kirsten and then to Elizabeth Elting, and such deserving individuals as well. So for me, that's what gets it. And then in terms of how, in general, how our workshops advance progress in WM, it's palpable. Every 2 years, we see advantages of improvements in our ability to manage this disease and understand this disease. And the clinical data builds on the scientific data. And what's really, for me, inspiring is to see all the collaborative work being done globally. I mean, we have great research networks in Europe. We have them in the US through WMNet. But we're seeing really international collaborations trying to improve the care and understanding of this rare disease. So my final comment would be to what to say to our young workshop attendees. And this year was amazing because we had 32 recognized young investigators that were recognized at the final evening. And this is, to me, is inspirational because those of us that are more advanced in our careers, to look and see all these young individuals who are so motivated and so bright to get involved in our field, I think is super, super exciting. And so I thought, all in all, it was a great workshop. And these workshops, I think, are the paradigm for how to understand and manage a rare disease. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Christian Buske. I'm coming from southern Germany, University of Ulm, and I'm long involved in the Waldenstrom community, and it's really a pleasure to summarize my thoughts on the IWWM 12th meeting in Prague. And it was indeed a great honor to co-host this meeting with my colleague Jeff Matous. You know, as a European, it was just great that this meeting took place in Prague, one of the really economic and cultural hubs of Central Europe, and intimately linked actually to Mozart, to the genius of Mozart, seeing the premiere of his operas Don Giovanni, La Clemenza di Tito, and his Prague Symphony. So a great location for the IWWM 12 meeting. I think this meeting was inspired by this great location when I think back, excellently guided by Steve Treon and Chris Patterson as all the years before. And of course, the question is, what was the most important message of this meeting? I would say two things, very simple. The first, the core message was, we can do it together. Waldenstrom is a rare disease, you know. The more it was so impressive how many colleagues and patients participated, how many young people, being actually our future, attended, and how many excellent abstracts were presented. I think it's the common spirit which is the basis for success, and the Prague meeting to my knowledge, documented a record number of participating people from all over the world. So a great, great experience, and I think a very simple, major, and most important message of this meeting. The second, perhaps important message: the clinical management of this disease is rapidly progressing. That's really impressive for all of us. And more, the development goes away from classical chemotherapy. I think the take-home message is targeted, smart approaches, avoiding chemotherapy. Associated toxicity will be very likely the future. And in the middle of this development stands the principle to inhibit the protein BTK. Yeah, we have many exciting new developments, but I think 2024, again, BTK inhibition was a major dominating player when we look at the treatment landscape and the treatment developments in Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, with its covalent, non-covalent BTK inhibitors, and finally also the BTK degraders. And I think it demonstrates very nicely that it's possible nowadays to use one therapeutic principle again and again by developing an array of drugs which all have the same goal, which is BTK inhibition, but use complementary mode of action. So I think these two major thoughts when we look back at this meeting. I think it's very clear to everybody that these workshops, like the one in Prague, are the heart of the international Waldenstrom community, inspiring at any sense and, most importantly, allowing face-to-face discussions between all of us, young and old, patients and physicians, and so on. In particular, when we look back at the COVID pandemics, Prague, it was really such a great experience because of this, to meet people, to talk to people, and I think really to understand that we are like a big, big family in the Waldenstrom community. So what is the message for our young attendees? Clearly, please join us at our next meeting in Palm Springs, which will take place in 2026. We are depending on you. The future depends on you, but I think there's also a good reason for you to join. Waldenstrom, or WM, has seen spectacular progress in our biological understanding and medical care. It's a field where you, as young people, can really move things to a better life for our patients. So thank you very much again. It was indeed an honor to be part of the Waldenstrom community in Prague.